Amplitude is 3. That's how high and low it'll go. Period, what's the period going to be in this case? 2 pi, because it's going to be standard because the b value is just 1 in this case, so it doesn't change at all. But that plus 2, what does that do to our graph? It moves it up now instead, up 2. So remember that, I don't know, so up 2. Remember that outside the parentheses, that very slight difference is enough to change that. And just so you guys know, sometimes you might see it written this way. Some like books or worksheets might write it this way, and they'll put the 2 in the front. It means the same thing. It's 2 plus the 3 times the cosine. That 3 is attached to the cosine because it's being multiplied. So again, if it's helpful, like what I like to do is graph it the normal way once and then do my shift. So the period in this case is 2 pi. So I think I'm going to go up by pi over 2. Does that sound okay? Yep. So this will be pi, 2 pi, this will be 3 pi, and then 4 pi. And the amplitude we said was 3, right? So I'm going to graph this by going up to 3. Oh, it's cosine, isn't it? So this one should start at 3. So this one should actually start up at 3, end up at 3, go down to -3, and then go to 0 in between. Oops, that's not 3. Down here. So there's my dotted line, kind of hard to see maybe from far away. But now I need to take that and shift it up 2, right? So I'm going to take all those points and go up 2, and actually this will take me off my graph. So kind of a confusing idea here, but you go up 1, 2, so straight up from there, up 1, 2, up. I didn't go quite high enough up there, but so it is off the graph at the top. So that would be our final graph then. It shifted up off the graph 2 units. Does that make sense? Okay. So why don't you guys try this next one? So the cosine of 1/2 x minus 3. And then we'll do the last one. Well, we'll do both of them together, but the last one, we'll kind of finish up with that one together.
How come all the cosine, they're all the down and up?
Because it sucks.
Oh, I don't know. So I didn't get creative. You want to change one of them to a sign?
No, I was
okay.
just
I don't know.
Stop it.
No. You can only shift cosine up and down. Sine you can't shift up and down. I was lying. You didn't see my sarcasm. All right, see if you guys can get this one. These 5-day weeks are killing us, huh?
And we have school. I can't off before Christmas. Is Christmas Eve. What is that?
I don't know.
We have off Christmas Eve.
That's it.
That's when our break starts?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been
Yeah, mine start on
Thursday.
What day is Christmas?
The 22nd. We have all.
So we have to go to school.
Yeah, it's so weird
Thursday?
because my church has
Yeah.
service.
I'm not.
It's when the church.
Wait.
Let's just,
We have to go to school Monday through
That's just
Thursday.
like Saturday.
I'm not gonna
you're boycotting this whole.
Yeah, actually,
We have to go to school Monday through Thursday for Christmas break. Then we have off on Friday through Thursday.
just have off.
I think the 23rd would have been reasonable.
Wait, so.
Is senior ed?
Thursday off for break is Christmas Eve.
Yeah, like I don't want to
I dread it.
I don't know what's that.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
It only gets worse if you have an event, like.
Oh, no, exactly.
Would you go up?
Like we're almost there.
No. Okay, guys, let's talk about this. We got on a tangent about Christmas break. So the amplitude in this case is 1. That's the number in front of the cosine is just 1. But we're dividing 2 pi by a half. So this is one of those that ends up, we multiply by 2. So the period ends up being 4 pi. So this is long, slow curve. So I would probably choose to use pi as my units to make sure that it goes out, 4 spaces. And then we're going to end up shifting it what? Down 3. So again, if you like to draw it first and then shift it down, that's fine. Especially if you guys make mistakes on these frequently, I would suggest trying that as a strategy first. Now this is cosine, careful. And I was making a joke about it, not very good joke, but a joke about it that you can only shift cosine up and down. It was just John had asked why these were all cosine examples. There was no good reason other than they just were. So this is our 4 pi here. And cosine's going to start up 1 and go down 1. And as you get more comfortable with these, you might be able to bypass the dotted line because you're just good at graphing them. But until you're there, it's okay for you to draw that and put that there for yourself. But now we're going to take that and shift it down 3. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. All of them have to go down 3 though. So there's our new graph then. It's almost all the way down on the bottom of the graph there. All right? Now our last one that we're finishing it with here today is it moves left and right and up and down, and the amplitude changes. I believe the period changes as well. So there's a lot going on with this last one. So kind of throwing everything at you at once here.
That's fine.
Okay. So when I do this, I typically start off by graphing just the basic graph before I do any of my shifts. So my amplitude is 2. My period, the b is 4. So it's going to be 2 pi over 4. So again, simplify that. That's pi over 2. So technically, if we did a normal scale on this, this would be a really quick moving graph. But at the same time, I do want to spread this out a little bit, but this might be throwing you guys off because we're going to shift it pi over 2. We'll deal with that in a little bit later here. But since at least they're the similar values or they're the same value, it makes it easy to do the shift. I'm still not going to make, I would not choose to make every line pi over 2. Because otherwise my graph ends up looking like little, really quick little heartbeats there. And I don't want that. But if you're okay with it, it's fine. But so I'm going to spread it out a little bit at least. Or maybe a lot, I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to do pi over, so count 2 spaces and go pi over 4, count 2 spaces, pi over 2. Is that okay? Okay. So basically pi over 8 is what I'm going up, but that's not important. And now this one, the amplitude was 2. So up to 2, back up to 2, down to 2. So that's my original cosine graph if I'm using that spacing. But now I have 2 different shifts to do. It says minus pi over 2. So what does that do to my graph? Right, pi over 2. And then up 2. And so what I'm going to do with each of my points is I'm going to kind of move it individually. So right pi over 2 and then up 2. So this 0 is going to move right pi over 2. So it's not just one space. It's actually all the way over to here. And then up 2. So this one's going to go right pi over 2 and then up 2. So this one's kind of a strange one because it actually moves over a full period. So the shift actually becomes, like the left and right shift kind of becomes unnecessary. The pi over 2 kind of cancels itself out because it moves over a complete period. So technically we could have just shifted this up 2 to begin with had we realized that. Because of the way cosine and sine work, it's the same like curve over and over again. So we kind of just got rid of that shift because the period was the same. Okay, questions? So whatever makes the most sense to you guys in terms of drawing the original graph and the new graph, if you need different colors or again, whatever works for you is fine with me. Oh, there is a question that asks you what it starts at. So that just means does it start at 0 or 1? You can put the pattern there. That's a place you guys could do that pattern if you like.
Thank you.
No, you don't have to write the starts at, or if you want to put the pattern there, whatever you guys want. Sorry, probably some years I push that more.